Your body is breaking down. Right now, as you read this, something inside you is quietly failing. Your posture is off, your vision is blurring, your gut is inflamed, your sleep is fractured. And the strange part? None of this was supposed to happen. For roughly 300,000 years, your ancestors didn't have doctors. No hospitals, no pharmacies, no blood pressure medication or cholesterol pills or antidepressants. And yet, the skeletal record tells a story that should make you deeply uncomfortable. They were, in almost every measurable way, physically stronger, better nourished, and more resilient than you are today. How is that possible? Let's start with the bones. When paleoanthropologists, scientists who study ancient human remains, examine skeletons from hunter-gatherer populations, they consistently find something remarkable. Dense, thick bones. Wide jaws filled with straight teeth. Femurs, the large bones in your thighs, with a robustness that modern orthopedic surgeons rarely see in living patients. Your ancestors weren't just surviving, they were physically thriving. Researcher Christopher Ruff at Johns Hopkins University spent decades studying the long bones of prehistoric humans. What he found was that our ancestors had significantly greater bone strength and muscle mass than people today, even accounting for body size. That strength wasn't a genetic gift, it was the result of a life that demanded it. Your ancient body moved constantly, not in the repetitive, isolated way a gym workout moves it. 30 minutes on a treadmill, 20 minutes lifting weights, then 8 hours sitting at a desk. Ancient movement was varied, unpredictable, full body, and lifelong. You climbed, you crouched, you carried, you sprinted in short bursts, then walked for hours. You dug, twisted, balanced, hauled. The body you inherited was built for exactly this kind of movement, and it responds to it by becoming stronger, denser, and more capable. When that stimulus disappears, your body starts to quietly collapse. Now consider food. The word diet today carries enormous cultural baggage. Restriction, guilt, calorie counts, processed substitutes, 5 competing studies that all contradict each other. For your ancestors, food was simpler. It was also more varied than almost anything most modern humans eat. Anthropologist Richard Lee conducted a landmark study of the Kungsan people of the Kalahari in the 1960s, one of the most cited research projects in anthropology. What he found overturned everything the scientific community assumed about prehistoric nutrition. The Kung, a living hunter-gatherer society whose way of life closely mirrors that of ancient humans, consumed over 75 different species of wild plants per year. 75. The average modern Western diet, by contrast, draws from fewer than 20 species, many of them variants of the same handful of grains. Your gut evolved over millions of years to process enormous microbial and nutritional variety. It expects hundreds of plant compounds, bitter roots, tough fibrous leaves, wild berries with more antioxidants per gram than anything in your grocery store, nuts eaten directly from the ground, honey taken from wild hives. What it gets instead is ultra-processed food, stripped of fiber, loaded with refined sugar, and produced by an agricultural system that has been narrowing the human diet for 10,000 years. The consequences are visible and measurable. Modern humans show rates of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and metabolic syndrome, conditions caused by the body's inability to regulate blood sugar and fat, that are essentially absent from the skeletal record of pre-agricultural populations. You are not suffering from bad luck. You are suffering from a mismatch between the diet your body expects and the one your civilization is providing. 10,000 years ago, agriculture arrived, and here is the twist most people never hear. It made humans sicker. Archaeologist Mark Nathan Cohen, in his landmark 1977 book The Food Crisis in Prehistory, documented something that shocked the field at the time. When human populations transitioned from hunting and gathering to farming, their health measurably declined. Skeletons from early agricultural communities showed shorter average stature, a direct marker of poor nutrition. Their teeth developed cavities at rates never seen in earlier populations because grain-based diets flood the mouth with fermentable sugar. They suffered deficiency diseases, scurvy, rickets, anemia, that hunter-gatherers almost never experienced. Crowded, settled communities meant disease spread more easily. Crop failures meant starvation in a way that the mobile, opportunistic forager rarely faced. The body you carry was not designed for a world of domesticated wheat and sedentary villages. It was designed for a world that no longer exists. So what did that world actually look like? Reconstruct a day. You wake without an alarm, your sleep naturally completed after roughly 7 to 9 hours aligned with the light cycle of the sun. You don't reach for a screen. There's nothing to reach for. Your morning begins with movement, a walk to find water, a scan of the landscape for animals or edible plants, conversation with the people around you. Your stress levels are real and acute. Predators exist. Weather is dangerous. Illness can kill. But they are not chronic. The low-grade cortisol fog that follows modern humans through every workday, the open browser tabs, the unanswered emails, the bills, the performance reviews, that kind of stress is largely a product of civilization. Anthropologist James Sussman, in his 2017 book Affluence Without Abundance, documented that among the Jew/Hwanzi Bushmen, a San people of Namibia, adults worked on average 15 to 17 hours per week to meet all their food and material needs. The rest was rest, play, socializing, storytelling, and sleep. This was not a poverty. This was the baseline human economy for most of our species' existence. Your body is not broken because you are weak. Your body is breaking down because it is operating in conditions it was never built for. Now think about your teeth. The modern orthodontic industry, braces, retainers, wisdom tooth extractions, jaw surgery, is built almost entirely on a problem that barely existed for most of human history. Researcher Daniel Lieberman at Harvard has spent years studying the evolution of the human skull, and what he found is striking. Ancient skulls consistently show wide jaws with straight teeth and space for wisdom teeth to emerge without crowding. Modern skulls do not. The jaw, it turns out, requires mechanical stress to develop properly. Chewing tough, fibrous, unprocessed food during childhood literally shapes the jawbone. Soft modern food produces narrow, crowded jaws that cannot fit all the teeth your genome is programmed to grow. Your dentist is not treating a disease. Your dentist is treating a symptom of the way you were raised. The same logic applies to your vision. Ophthalmologist Renfrew Saunders and researchers studying myopia, nearsightedness, across populations have found that rates of myopia are skyrocketing, particularly in East Asian urban populations where children now spend nearly all their daylight hours indoors. Hunter-gatherer children spent their entire days outside, training their eyes on distant horizons, near objects, and everything in between. The human eye, when deprived of natural outdoor light during critical developmental windows, fails to grow correctly. The modern epidemic of glasses is not genetic destiny. It is the consequence of a childhood spent inside. None of this means your ancestors had easy lives. They died younger on average, not because their bodies failed from chronic disease, but because infection, injury, and childbirth were lethal in ways that modern medicine has largely solved. The skeletal record shows that those who survived childhood often lived into their 50s, 60s, and beyond in remarkably good physical condition. Their joints show far less wear. Their arteries show far less calcification. Their brains, as far as archaeologists can tell from the art they left at sites like Blombos Cave in South Africa and Chauvet Cave in France, were fully modern, complex, and creative. The hunter-gatherer body did not age the way yours is aging. It wore out from the outside, from the world. Yours is eating itself from the inside, from the mismatch. So what do you do with this? You cannot go back. The world that built your body no longer exists, and even if it did, you would not survive in it for long without the knowledge systems it took thousands of generations to develop. But you can understand what your body is asking for. Movement that is varied and daily. Food that is diverse and minimally processed. Sleep that follows light. Stress that has endpoints. Time outdoors. Chewing food that requires chewing. Your body is not a broken modern machine. It is an ancient one, running the wrong software. You wake up when your body is ready. Somewhere deep in your biology, that is still the instruction. You have just spent your entire life ignoring it.